Can the Toronto Triumph capture the franchise's first ever win? Or will Heather Furr and Ann Erler lead Saskatoon to another victory? Find out next on LFL Saturday Night Football. Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us for another outstanding edition of LFL Saturday Night Football. Alongside Bobby Huco, I'm Van Allwright, and we've got another great contest for this Week 4 of LFL Canada. Saskatoon trying to keep it going, Toronto trying to stay alive.
Toronto, it's a must-win for them tonight. They cannot start the season off at 0-2 and have any chance to advance to Canada's first Lingerie Bowl. On the other side, Saskatoon, if they win tonight, go 2-0, they'll be sitting in the driver's seat for that Lingerie Bowl.
And how about Toronto? Because they had a lot of high expectations coming into this first ever LFL Canada season. What has been their problem so far? What do they need to focus on improving tonight?
The problem is they have a high-octane passing game, and they're not going to it. They start the game off running and running and running when they have a quarterback that can wing it, and one of the top receivers in the LFL Canada, Crystal Hall, who can get by anybody and catch it in traffic.
How about Saskatoon? Really impressive in their first game. What has been the key to their success?
Well, of course, that's the Furler combination right there. That connection is beating everybody on offense and defense. Annie Erler at quarterback, Heather Furr at running back and receiver on offense. And that duo on the other side of the ball is the top secondary in LFL Canada.
They have been a dynamic duo and fun to watch. Saskatoon trying to move into the driver's seat. Toronto trying to keep hope alive. The kickoff is next. Welcome back to beautiful downtown Toronto here in Ontario. We set the scene for you for this Week 4 of LFL Canada. Toronto in the navy blue, the home team. Saskatoon in the white. Stephanie Busatil will handle the kickoff duties for the Triumph. We are underway in Toronto. Squib kick, bouncing around Tamar Fennell, picking it up and paying the price. So the Sirens will start deep in their own territory. Toronto fired up with that good kickoff. Number 1, Tamar Fennell, the principal running back for the Saskatoon offense. Number 6, Agam Shishindu, she can run it and catch it. Quarterback Ann Erler wears number 19, and she is impressive. The Sirens will start from their own end zone. Handing it off to Fennell. Quick feet, gets them out of deep in their own territory. Good gain on first down.
The Sirens came out, no huddle, pro set from the gun. Give the ball to Fennell, and she's showing why she's great in space.
We talked a lot about the Furler combo. Here's what Ann has to say about playing with Heather Furr.
I think the biggest thing between us, I know that no matter who Heather goes up against, it's usually a mismatch, which is awesome for our case on offense that I know I can hit her and I know she'll be open.
It's been very impressive how these two players have gelled so quickly.
They're like sisters. They combine and play unbelievably together.
Tons of running room on that second down for Saskatoon as Fennell again totes the pig.
Again, from the pro set in the gun, inside handoff. The eyes on Fennell are phenomenal. She could have gone outside or inside. A good running back doesn't need holes.
9-yard gain for a first down. Quick pass out to the flat by Erler and caught by Heather Furr. A 7-yard gain. The dynamic duo again rises to the surface.
Great play selection right there. Both backs swing out opposite ways. Heather Furr wide open. Either way you can go, Van Earl.
2nd and 3 from the 24. Hand off to Heather Furr. Running room on the right side, cutting back to the middle, breaking tackles, and taking it down inside the Toronto 20-yard line.
I got a question, Coach Steve Moore for Toronto. Watch where they're lined up. The defensive line is 5 yards back. A cross-bucks action. The ball right there to Heather first. She stands upright. Somehow she gets through everybody, switches the ball in her hand like a pro. Great run by Fur, but the defense is on their heels, not even lined up right.
Now into Toronto territory. 17 yards from the goal line. It's a 1st and 10 for Saskatoon. They're picking up right where they left off from their last game. Another cross buck. And again, it goes to Fur. More running room for Fur on the right side, and another good gain. Hey, this is why we've been talking about the dynamic duo of Furler, Heather Fur, and Ann Erler. They were on fire in the last game, Bobby.
They've only played together in all-star games, Van Earl. Look at them. Their time is impeccable right there. They're playing together like they've been 10-year veterans. That's why right now they're the top passing combination in LFL Canada.
And scoring combination as well. The numbers from Heather Fur in Saskatoon's first game, producing 2 touchdowns. Right now it'll be 2nd and 4 for Heather Fur and her offensive teammates for Saskatoon. Working from the 11-yard line, just underway here in Toronto, and Saskatoon has come out on fire offensively. Again, the handoff to Fur. Going back towards the middle, tackle by Jenny Butler. By the way, number 3 for Toronto is also wired up. Thank you so much, Jenny Butler. That's exactly what she did on that particular play, making the tackle and holding the gain to 2 yards. 3rd and 2 now for Saskatoon. And Erler working from underneath center with 2 running backs in the backfield, Fennell and Fur. Erler back to pass, scrambling around to her right, connecting with Tamar Fennell. Dragged down at the 2-yard line, a pickup of 7 yards.
How cool is Annie Erler in the pocket? Full blitz right after, all composed, dumps the ball under it to Tamar Fennell. The ball should have been picked off by Jaleesa McCrary, but what happened? She got the job done.
It's a 1st and goal for Saskatoon. And Erler's numbers from Saskatoon's win. A quality quarterback rating of 97.2, 0 interceptions. From the 2-yard line, wide open, easy walk into the end zone for quarterback Ann Erler.
What happened to Toronto's defense? They're back on their heels. Watch this, Van Earl. There's no attack at all. You could have walked in there for a touchdown. There's no fire in Toronto's defense.
First contact was made when she was already in the end zone. Too little, too late. Now let's listen up to Annie Erler in the huddle.
Play 2, pro search F2. Looking to you, okay? F2. Other one, ready?
Looks like it's going to be the Pro Search F2. Look for somebody in the back of the end zone to break open. Hopefully it's going to be wide open.
Going for a 2-point conversion after the score from underneath center. Ann Erler back to pass. Scrambling around to her right. Oh, making a great cut, stiff arm, and in there for the 2-point conversion, increasing their lead to 8-0. Overall, an outstanding, well, I'm not sure about that chest bump, but an outstanding drive.
Watch this, Van Earl. She's looking for somebody in the back of the end zone. She gets away from 6 defenders from Toronto. She can not only pass, but she can run through defenses.
Annie Erler leading Saskatoon on their opening drive. But they got to work on their celebration. The chest bump lacking in proficiency. All right, Toronto takes over their offense with their first chance to answer Saskatoon's opening drive. Handoff to Shauna Pinnock. She's on the move down the right side. Taking it down all the way close to the 10-yard line. Great opening play.
When this girl gets the ball, you cannot bring her down. She's like Jerome Bettis. Look, she runs through everybody.
Pinnock, number 6, with that great run, already taking a knee. Winded after 125-yard gain. The locomotive having slowed down. Toronto's looking for any way to win, including moving number 16, Donna Paul, from quarterback to receiver.
It's been a little bit of an adjustment going from quarterback to wide receiver, but you know, I'm a football player and I'm also a team player, so I'm going to do whatever I can do, or whatever the coaches want me to do to get that first win for the Toronto Triumph. Do this.
On the other side of the offense for Toronto, number 20, Crystal Hall, will also be a very important target in the passing game for Mouse Villagonzalo. And Shauna Pinnock, number 6, also known as the Locomotive. And Marife Villagonzalo, using the nickname of the Mouse, playing quarterback again, and a horrible snap from center Roxy Rowe, sailing over the head of Villagonzalo, trying to scramble and make something out of a really bad play.
You know what, Van Earl? All men think they can coach football or grill hamburgers. I'm questioning about Toronto right now. The shotgun formation, she's lined up 9 yards behind the center. That's 4 yards too much. The ball is going to sail like that. The Toronto coaches got to get more discipline and get the players in the right position.
Villagonzalo's numbers from Toronto's first game: 3 interceptions, a glaring deficiency. Villagonzalo has to show a lot of improvement of protecting the football in this contest for the Triumph. 2nd and 29. Villagonzalo going to the air, down the middle, into double coverage and picked off. Picked off by Annie Erler, returning it big time. This is a horrible start for Toronto, Bobby.
Van Earl, they look like the Toronto team of last year. They got beat by Philadelphia 74-0. They didn't win a game. They had a lot of preseason hype, but they're not showing it right there. Villagonzalo can throw the football, but watch, she has nothing on it, doesn't step into it. The ball floats, and it's picked off by Annie Erler. A great play by Annie, but Toronto just doesn't have it tonight.
It's hard to say enough about Ann Erler and Heather Furr. We've come close so far, but they have been the principals and the stars of this contest so far. The starters defensively for Toronto, keep your eye on number 13, Roxy Rowe. Devine Burton, number 7, an internet star. We'll talk more about that as we go throughout the contest. 1st and 10 for Saskatoon. Handoff to Heather Furr. Another great job of toting the pig for number 15 in white. Taken down by Jaleesa McCrary, but another big gain of 8 yards.
Heather Furr showing why she was a league MVP in the Lingerie Football League of the United States. She switches the ball like a pro. She stiff arms these girls. She's running right through Toronto. They don't have to do anything exciting tonight. The basic plays, Toronto defense can't stop. They can keep doing that all night.
The entire Toronto defense needed to combine to stop Heather Furr on that run. A gain of 8 yards results in a 2nd and 2, and once again, Saskatoon in Toronto territory. Ann Erler from the gun, avoiding the quick pass rush. Looking downfield. Oh, in and out of the hands of Tamara Fennell.
Annie Erler showing nerves of steel. A corner blitz. They're going after just like they went after Nikki Johnson last week.
Last week, Toronto was stirring the pot of controversy. Look at some of the dirty play. Whooping up on Regina quarterback Nikki Johnson. Jenny Butler right there with a terrible late hit. Donna Paul throwing her to the ground. Then Devine Burton getting in at the very end. Alicia Bell with a really late hit on Nikki Johnson after she released the pass. And Devine Burton with a really ugly elbow. That's why they're calling number 7 the Crypt Keeper. Now a 3rd and 2 as we return to live action. Annie Erler with Tamara Fennell in the backfield. Pitch to Fennell, right side. Another good gain by number 1 for Saskatoon. By the way, we just showed you a lot of Toronto cheap shots last week on Regina quarterback Nikki Johnson, but Bobby, Nikki got in the last word.
Yes, Vander. Here's the retaliation. She's scrambling out, looking for somebody to pass to. Nobody there. She turns it up, lowers the shoulder, and goes right through the Crypt Keeper. Devine Burton almost got knocked out on that play. And that hit went viral on YouTube. Over 6 million hits. We've seen on Monday Night Football and Sports Center. Incredibly what's going on right now.
Nikki Johnson became a worldwide internet star from that one play of retaliation on her part. Now a 1st and 10 for Saskatoon. Fake the pitch, inside handoff to Tamara Fennell. Tons of running room. Oh, right on the doorstep. Got it down to the 1 yard line. Another great play.
Counter play to Tamar. Look at that. There's nothing there. She finds her own holes, and she runs through this cheesecake defense of Toronto. Nobody's tackling.
I tell you, Toronto needs to step it up. Saskatoon is ripped, roaring, and ready for this edition of LFL Saturday Night Football. They are in complete control in this contest. First and goal from the 1 for the Sirens. Wow, talk about walking right in. She didn't even get touched that time. Another touchdown for Saskatoon.
You got to hand it to Friesen, Stallwick, and Berger up front. They're totally dominating Toronto's defense.
You just heard one of the Siren players say, too easy. That is for sure. Right now they're lining up for the points after. They're going to go for 2 as they work from the 5-yard line.
Saskatoon is looking like a team that wants to go to Lingerie Bowl this year.
So far, absolutely. Their play has been spectacular and by far the best in this first season of LFL Canada. Handoff to Fennell, and finally the Toronto defense steps up. Not much blocking on that play by the Siren offensive line.
The Toronto defensive line must have hurt us, Vanderall. That's the most aggressive they've been all night.
We talked about the dynamic duo of Heather Furr and Annie Erler. They also love playing the D.
For me, defense is the freedom I need. I can watch the quarterback come up for the run, play the pass.
And on the opposite side, you have the run that we can just crush people at the line that we don't get to do on offense. It's a great time.
Come on, baby. Get up, get up, get up!
We've got Heather Furr wired up, so we'll be listening in on her and her intensity throughout this contest of LFL Saturday Night Football. So Toronto takes over offensively on their own 15. Villa Gonzalo, the handoff to Jenny Butler. Pickup of about 4 or 5 yards. Here's a look at the defensive starters for the Saskatoon Sirens.
Jenny Butler is one of the fastest and strongest running backs in LFL Canada. She shows it right there, getting 5.
Starting defensively, keep your eye on number 4, Casey Simpson for Saskatoon, and their secondary absolutely loaded. Now a 2nd and 5 for Toronto. From their 20-yard line, Villa Gonzalo working from the shotgun. Much better snap. Scrambling around, cross the field for Crystal Hall, but unable to hold on. Again, look who's there. Ann Erler playing the defense.
Annie Erler, watch her come up from free safety. She adapts to the ball and jumped on coverage so quick. She's there before the ball gets there, and that's from the safety position, Vanderall.
There was a flag on that play, but before we check out the flag, we want to once again show you just how dynamic Heather Furr and Ann Erler are. Last week in their win, picking off passes left and right. The pass defense great, the run defense great, Bobby.
The 2 dynamic secondary players in LFL Canada from the safety position, they come up better than anybody. They come 10 yards back and they get people in the backfield. There's nobody like them in LFL Canada.
Annie Erler, her numbers defensively in that Saskatoon victory. Again, all over the field. Here's referee Harold McKenzie.
Personal foul. Number 4.
Personal foul against Saskatoon, so it'll be a 1st and 10 for Toronto offensively. A break, a much-needed break for the Triumph offense. Roxy Rowe at center. Villa Gonzalo working from the shotgun. Not much play action execution. Scrambling towards the line of scrimmage. Picked off by Annie Erler. That was ugly and sloppy by the Toronto quarterback.
That's as sloppy as you can get. She has all kind of time. I don't know why she ran up to the line of scrimmage. She floats it out there. There's 5 players around the ball. Of course, Annie Erler, the ball hawk, comes up with it, but just not a good play by the Mouse.
Crystal Hall and the Toronto offense frustrated. Here's Annie Erler in her offensive huddle.
Oh, we're on offense, okay? Motherfucking my turd. Play 2. Throw search F2. Hey, Adam, you get beat. Release on that weak side, okay? On 1, ready? Right.
Where you can tell that Annie Erler is in complete control, completely knowledgeable of the Saskatoon offense, giving the specific and pointed directions to her teammates. 1st and 10 for the Sirens. Erler back to pass. Burton with the rush. Off the hands of Agam Shishindu. Probably should have been caught, Bobby.
It was a little bit too high. You know what I like, though? In the huddle, they have combinations where the receivers have options depending on the coverage. Either do a 9 route or a deep 5. A lot of teams in LFL Canada don't have that. It's a great scheme by Saskatoon.
In the final 90 seconds of this first quarter, it'll be 2nd and 10 for Saskatoon. Inside handoff, Agam Shishindo. Good tackle that time by Jenny Butler. She's been the best player on the defensive side of the ball for Toronto.
Toronto must have been studying the playbook on that one because Agam has had much success all year with that inside handoff. It's almost like a tight end inside reverse, and they were all over Agam on that play.
A loss of 2 yards, so it'll be 3rd and 12. The first somewhat negative situation for the Sirens so far in this game. They have been completely dominant. Working from their own 16-yard line. Andy Erler shouting over the crowd noise, looking to go to the air. Caught by Heather Furr, her best friend. A gain of 17 yards. 0 pass rush that time by Toronto, resulting in a Saskatoon first down.
Van Earl, you're right. She had so much time back there, she could have watched a Keanu Reeves movie back there. She had about 20 hours to throw the ball.
Wow. Keanu Reeves has made it into the broadcast.
One of the greatest Canadian actors of all time, and with that kind of time, why not throw a movie in?
Your versatility is quite impressive. Final seconds of the first quarter are 1st and 10 for Saskatoon. Incomplete, intended for Tamara Fennell, but that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. Andy Erler and the Sirens in complete control. Time to check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Mitch Mortaza.
All right, guys, back in the box here as advertised. I know we sound like a broken record, but Furler is officially taking over the game. On the stat sheet, you've got Erler with 2 big picks. She's the one really stepping up in that secondary. And who's she looking for when she looks to toss that pigskin? Heather Furr. Looks like the Furler show is continuing to rock. Back to you guys.
Absolutely, Mitch. A familiar figure for all of you LFL fans out there. Saskatoon maintaining possession and maintaining control of the contest. A 2nd and 10 from the Toronto 17. Erler from the shotgun. Over the middle, caught right there. Agam Shishindu breaks a tackle and takes it in. Touchdown, Saskatoon. 17-yard scoring play. Agam Shishindu always looking for any moment to celebrate and hot dog it.
Wow, Agam Shishindu growing up right before our eyes. She was a great defensive back in Los Angeles last year. She's shown this year she's a great receiver and running back with Saskatoon. What an unbelievable play.
She's a hot dog, but hey, it's nice to see that somebody else is starting for Saskatoon besides the dynamic duo of Furler. Right now, the Sirens lining up for 2 points after the score, working from the 5-yard line. Quick slant pass. Heather Furr catches it, 2 points. It's good for Saskatoon. They increase their lead to 22 points, continuing to dominate.
Great call by Coach Lambers. One-on-one coverage, you call a quick slant. Who else but Heather Furr can catch it with only one defensive back on her?
Toronto trying to rally and recover. Let's listen to Heather Furr.
Five on me on the goal and leaving me wide open in the middle. They can do it all day though, baby.
Now they go on defense. Heather Furr and Ann Erler as Villa Gonzalo with the quick handoff to Alicia Emerson. A positive play, much needed for the Toronto offense. It'll be good enough for a first down.
Great call, inside handoff to the tight end, Alicia Emerson. She cuts it upfield, runs it to a host of defenders, but awesome starting call there for Toronto.
Let's listen to Jenny Butler, who's wired up.
I saw you trying to keep shot. It's okay.
I think that's a little taunting as well by Heather Furr, and why not? Her team is up 22-0. First and 10 for Toronto. Handoff to Jenny Butler, and the quarterback and running back get tripped up. What else can go wrong for this Triumph team?
Sloppy football. They just don't connect. They trip feet right there. How do you do that on a basic handoff? They just did not come to play tonight, Van Earl.
They look totally out of sync. Now a 2nd and 9, just underway here in the second quarter in Toronto, but the home team is struggling, and that's the understatement of the night. 2nd and 9. Villa Gonzalo working from the shotgun. Much better snap by center Roxy Rowe. Villa Gonzalo hanging in the pocket much better and completes it to Jenny Butler. That's a good, positive play, and again, much needed for the Triumph team.
Where's that been, Van Earl? We talked about this in the pregame. She can throw the football as well as anybody, but you can't start throwing the football when you're 22-0 down. I blame the coaches for bad play selection. Now they're going to start trying to throw the football.
That gets it down to the 6-yard line, so it'll be a 1st and goal, and the real first chance for Toronto to get on the scoreboard. From underneath center, Villa Gonzalo working. Hand off to Jenny Butler and immediately met by Agam Shishindu again.
Did you see the safeties comes up? A veteran quarterback like Annie Earl would have checked off when the safeties came to the line. Toronto's not coached up that good.
Agam Shishindu, these are her numbers from Saskatoon's first game where they won. Now a 2nd and goal after the 2-yard loss, courtesy of Shishindu. Toronto working from the 8-yard line. 2nd and goal. Oh, another bad snap. Man, the sloppiness. Once they finally get something going, Toronto, they shoot themselves in the foot.
Villa Gonzalo has to wake up. She's the leader of this team, the quarterback. The #1 rule in football, you have to take care of the football, and they're not doing it tonight.
Absolutely. Protect the pig. And that's another thing that they have totally failed at tonight. Now a 3rd and goal, but after that bad snap and loss, it's 3rd and goal from the 17-yard line.
Van Earl, we saw them throw the ball last year against Orlando. They can do it. They can score points quick. They have to start doing it to have any chance in this game.
Villa Gonzalo working from the shotgun. Again, looking to go to the air. Looking around, plenty of time. Caught by Crystal Hall. But a modest gain, only a gain of 4 yards. So it'll be 4th and goal from the 13 for Toronto. Let's check out Heather Furr, who's wired up.
Cross here. So if you leave your zone, only leave it until someone else comes. No, it's yeah. We're calling, when I say blue or 2, it's because of 2.
So she's a defensive star, she's an offensive star, and now she's coaching out there.
She could be another player coaching this league. She knows the game better than the coaches.
Absolutely. 4th and goal for Toronto, but 4th and goal from the 13-yard line. Villa Gonzalo with a little play action. Going to the end zone. Incomplete to number 13, Roxy Rowe. Ball will be turned back over to Saskatoon on downs. A few bright spots for the Toronto defense, but Saskatoon definitely up to the challenge and maintaining control of the contest. They will take over with 3:39 remaining in the first half.
To have any chance to get back in the game, they had to score that time. They should have gone to their playmakers, Butler or Hall. They're the ones who can come down with some points.
And now they need to produce a turnover because they definitely need some kind of points on the board before halftime. 1st and 10 for Erler. Finding Shishindu, crossing over right at the line of scrimmage. Great run after the catch for number 6 of Saskatoon.
Van Earl, watch her footwork in the pocket. Calm, cool, and collected. She takes her time. She moves with the line. She finds where the holes are. And then she finds Chijindu coming across the middle, wide open. She gets a great gain down the sideline, but she plays like a coach when she's a quarterback.
Great gain of 15 yards for the Siren offense. Plenty enough for another first down. Now in Toronto territory. Just past the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. Annie Erler handing it off to Tamar Fennell. Again, a great game, a great positive play for the Saskatoon offense. Toronto on both sides of the ball has not shown up.
Being the home team is an advantage, but you know what? Having a lot of talent is more than an advantage. Great play there by Tamar Fennell, one of the best backs in LFL Canada.
It'll be a 2nd and 4 for Annie Erler and the Siren offense. Already up 22-0 as we move closer to the 2-minute warning. Annie Erler with Tamar Fennell in the backfield. Fake the pitch, inside handoff. And hey, Toronto finally stepped up defensively. A little cheap shot there delivered by Stephanie Budasil, and Fennell is complaining to the refs.
2 weeks in a row, Van Earl. They went after Nikki Johnson last week and cheap shots again tonight.
We've hit the 2-minute warning. Saskatoon in complete control, 22-0. Back in beautiful downtown Toronto, and it is indeed, Bobby, a beautiful city.
Absolutely, Van Earl. Beautiful city and a beautiful offense tonight for Saskatoon. They're playing no hitches in their offense. Great football. They look like they might make a run at the championship.
Absolutely. It would be the first ever lingerie bowl in Canada, and Saskatoon has their sights set on that championship contest. 3rd and 6. Erler from the gun. Finally feeling a little pressure. Incomplete across the middle. Intended for Carrie Britton. Finally some Toronto defense there.
I love the way Annie Erler moves in the pocket like an NFL quarterback. She almost makes something happen right there, but she always seems to find time to make something happen.
Now a 4th and 6 for the Siren offense. Quarterback Erler directing traffic and working from the shotgun. Plenty of time on this pass play. Throwing into double coverage, but it looks like 2 receivers collided on that play.
Finally, great defense by Toronto. A good rush and great coverage in the secondary. Nobody's open downfield. Now, Van Earl, I don't want to say this, but I know that the Mouse can throw the football. They're not out of this game yet. There's time left.
Finally looked like a less than perfect execution by Saskatoon. Usually when 2 receivers show up in the same spot, somebody messed up there.
You're right. So, you sound like a coach, Van Earl.
No, I just sound like I've been hanging around you. It'll be 1st and 10 for Toronto. And as you mentioned, Villa Gonzalo has shown that she can throw the ball. She can pitch it around the yard. Boy, do they need something now. Villa Gonzalo from the shotgun. Going right across the middle. Caught Crystal Hall. Gain of 13 yards. Here we go. Finally, the Triumph showing some light.
That's the 2 superstars right there. The Mouse can throw the ball, and who else but Crystal Hall? Every play I would go to her, even if she's covered. She's the only one that can score points quickly to get them back in the game.
Clock is ticking, approaching the final minute of the 2nd quarter. But another 1st and 10 for the Triumph offense as Villa Gonzalo moves underneath center. Again, back to pass, looking to the right side, and again connecting with Crystal Hall. Getting it down to the 6-yard line.
A great zone read here by Crystal Hall. She finds a hole, she just posts up, make a quick hook move, and then she's got that SEC speed and hands.
SEC, I love it. The SEC has entered LFL Canada. 1st and goal. Oh, it's a touchdown for Toronto. Villa Gonzalo doing it herself. Climbing over the wall and trying to get the crowd here in Toronto back into it.
They finally got that mojo, Van Earl. This is the team we wanted to see to open the game. This is the team that can score points. They're not out of it.
Wow, that is much needed. A much needed score for Toronto right before halftime. Now a 22-6 ball game as Toronto lines up for the points after. Villa Gonzalo from underneath center. We'll see if they go to the air, keep it on the ground. They keep it on the ground to Jenny Butler, but met by Heather Furr. So the conversion is no good for Toronto, but still the 6 points are huge.
They tried to go right up the gut, and they had everybody at the front line for Saskatoon. They probably should have done a play action with giving the Mouse the pass run option.
Here we go. Let's listen in.
Let's go, White. Let's go, White. We got 37 seconds. Let's make something happen.
The two leaders of Saskatoon, Heather Furr and Ann Erler, encouraging their teammates to keep the gas pedal slammed down to the floorboard. Do not let up, even though there's less than a minute to go. Let's see if they can pull off some magic here before halftime. 1st and 10. Keeping it on the ground. Hand off to Heather Furr. Another good gain. Crunched at the wall. Roxy Rowe with the tackle.
It's incredible how much talent they have on the Saskatoon team. They got Heather Furr right there. They got Fennell. They got Ogum. They can give the ball to 1 of 5 girls.
Gain of 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Clock is stopped because the runner was pushed out of bounds. Referee blowing the whistle. Players looking around, and the clock is running. I think the refs need to step in and reset the clock because it should not start running again until the snap of the ball. Trying to clear up the confusion here in Toronto.
Van Earl, you hit it the nail on the head. I think the refs should flip a coin right now because I'm not sure they know what they're doing.
Well, we got G. Gordon Liddy working on the referee crew. No, I'm kidding. It's Harold McKenzie. Here we go. Clock has been reset to 29 seconds. 2nd and 4 for Ann Erler and the Sirens. Pitch to Tamar Fennell. Again, finding plenty of running room. Gang tackled by the Toronto defense.
How much fun must it be to play quarterback back there? You have 4 all-LFL All-Stars you can give the ball to. It's got to be fun, Van Earl.
An old gang tackle right there. Didn't look too much fun for Tamar Fennell. Clock is ticking. Right before the clock hit 0, Ann Erler snaps the ball. Last play, throwing it up. Caught.
Yes.
It's caught. It's caught by Heather Furr. Oh, my. Look at the posing going on by Heather Furr and her teammates. Just snapping the ball right before the clock hits 0, and they come up with yet another outstanding play.
Sensational play. Furler again. It's automatic like Mac Dunigan and Ginzo Williams. Unbelievable play.
Goodness. Lining up for the conversion. Wow, that is a shot to the Toronto gut right there.
Wow.
Already in complete control. Toronto finally gets on the board, and with seconds remaining, Ann Erler and the Saskatoon offense put up yet another touchdown. The conversion is no good, but we will take it into halftime with Saskatoon up big.
Tried that same slant pattern to get the extra points. Nothing there that time, but what an ending of a half.
28-6 at halftime in Toronto. We'll be back right after this. Halftime in Toronto as we take you inside the Triumph locker room.
Bring it in, come on, seriously? We have poor execution. We're not running our plays properly, and we're playing soft. I gotta let everybody know something. The game started at 8 o'clock. What time are you all gonna show up? Seriously? Are you gonna get fired up for this half? Yeah! Your touchdowns every time you touch the ball. I'm gonna show them who's motherfucking sticks in. Playing Triumph football!
Triumph needing to rally because Ann Erler and Saskatoon have dominated this contest. That's a look offensively. Here's a look defensively. Ann Erler with the pick and then resulting in a touchdown. Bunch of defensive pressure resulting in another interception by Ann Erler. And then she found Agam Shishindu. And finally, before the half, the Hail Mary. A 28-6 halftime lead for Saskatoon.
Looking at the halftime stats, the 2 big differences are turnovers, 2 Annie Erler interceptions, and total yards 158 to 93.
Back with the second half after this. Almost ready for the second half in Toronto, but we check in with Mitch Mortaza.
Thank you, guys. We're down on the floor, getting ready to start the third quarter. And we've got a very recognizable face next to me, responsible for 3 scores, 2 interceptions. Not a bad half of football, Annie Hurler.
Feels great. I couldn't do it without my line. My line is protecting me, giving me the time to throw, to find my receivers, and blocking for me when I want to get in the end zone. So I owe it all to them.
And Furler came through toward the end there. What were you guys thinking of running out the clock, or were you going to go for a score?
Well, we were going to run out the clock, and I saw her, and I saw that look in her eyes, and she wants it. So I looked at her, I said, yeah, give me something back there, and then I saw her eyes open wide when she hit the end zone. I said, I got to try it.
Well, excellent half of football from Furler here. Let's see what the second half holds. Thanks to you guys.
Thank you so much, Mitch Mortaza. Agam Shishindu and Saskatoon loving life and living large, and why not? They got a 28-6 lead. At Shauna Pinnock. Back to receive for Toronto. Good thing for the Triumph team that they are starting the second half offensively. They need some points.
Oh, here we go, Van Earl.
Oh, here, and look at there. Devine Burton, the crypt keeper, number 7 in blue, right there in the middle of it all.
Just like last week against Regina, they start talking trash. Now they're starting fights. They're down a lot of points. They should just play football.
Absolutely. Their focus better be on finding a way to putting some points on the board. Agam Shishindu, very irritated and frustrated and trying to be calmed down by the leader of the Sirens, Ann Earler.
That's one player you do not want to mess with, Van Earl. Agam Shishindu can fight with anybody.
Number 2 for Toronto. Number 13.
Our referee, Harold McKenzie, trying to sort things out from that scuffle right here right here at the start of the second half. Toronto, 1st and 10 from their own 15. Villa Gonzalo underneath center, handing it off to Jenny Butler. Tons of running room that time. Taken down by Shishindu, planted into the turf, but a good gain of 8 yards.
I think that fight got Shishindu fired up. What a play there by Agam, coming up, nailing Jenny Butler. Jenny Butler's a little dinged up. Watch this play. Good run by Jenny Butler. Give her credit, but watch this hit by Shishindu. Wow.
Agam Shishindu, always a handful for any offense. Those are her numbers from the first half. 4 tackles. She certainly makes her presence known to an offense, Bobby.
She destroys offenses. I'll tell you what, if I was playing with her on my team, the way she plays, her attitude, she knows the game inside and out, and now she's on top of all that, she's become an offensive threat.
Here are Villa Gonzalo's numbers from the first half. The 2 interceptions, a real killer for Toronto. 2nd and 2. Handoff to Crystal Hall. All kinds of running room. Look at her go. Still alive and still picking up yards. Wow, getting it down to the 5-yard line. And again, extracurricular after the whistle.
Crystal Hall is a game breaker. This is the girl, you got to give her the football. She's the one that can score anytime she touches that. Look, there's got to be 8 players over there, and she still busts through everybody.
That's a huge gain of 22 yards. It'll be 1st and goal for Toronto. Looks like they needed a break at halftime. They're coming out looking a whole lot better so far.
As always, Van Earl, they always start late.
From the 5-yard line. From underneath center, handoff to Crystal Hall. Right at the doorstep. Stopped by Annie Earler and the entire Saskatoon defense. But Toronto looking good down to the 1-yard line.
Great play by Annie Earler, but watch how strong Crystal Hall is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players are trying to bring her down. She's still trying to cross the goal line.
It'll be 2nd and goal for the Triumph from the 1-yard line. Quarterback Villa Gonzalo from underneath center. Crystal Hall is in the backfield. Again, they give it a Hall. This time, though, the Saskatoon defense ready and waiting. Carrie Britton with the tackle along with Shishindu.
Do you see the difference in the 2 defenses, Van Earl? Saskatoon, they get down, they get low on the goal line, they're ready to play ball, they're ready to put it to the offense. On the other side of the ball, Toronto hasn't done that all night, in fact, all year, in fact, all the last 2 years, Van Earl.
Now a 3rd and goal for Villa Gonzalo and the Triumph. Working from the 3-yard line. Villa Gonzalo keeping it herself, getting pushed into the end zone. Touchdown, Toronto. 3-yard touchdown run. Much needed for the triumph.
There was absolutely nothing there, Vanderbilt. You got to hand it to Villa Gonzalo, showing her heart and soul. A quarterback sneak. There was probably 8 people lined up in front of him. Somehow she got in the end zone.
And they're trying to get this Toronto crowd back into this game. They need that support here in the second half to rally.
Watch this. Basic quarterback streak. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Somehow she pulls her way in the end zone. What kind of strength is that?
Crystal Hall and Alicia Emerson helping her into the end zone. Let's listen in.
Hey, watch that tight end release. Hey, watch that tight end release. Hey, if she comes out, you gotta go with her. Hey, man up, tight, man up. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
That was Annie Erler and Heather Furr. They're wired up throughout the game. Villa Gonzalo and Toronto lining up for the points after. Going to the air, left side, caught. Tiff Russell. Beautiful conversion, beautiful play by Toronto. That makes it a 28-14 game.
This is the same play action pass they ran in their first game. Tiff Russell wide open in the corner of the end zone. Great call there by Toronto.
Wow, they look like a football team again, Bobby.
How come every game they fall so far behind and they finally make a run late in the game?
It's a 28-14 game. Toronto trying to come back. Great start to the second half for Toronto. Getting on the board on their first drive of the second half. Let's see if they can't slow down the Saskatoon offense, something they failed to do throughout the first half. Annie Erler's numbers in the first half, quality. 2 TD tosses, QB rating of more than 100. Handoff to Tamar Fennell. Lots of room on the right side. Look at the speed.
My.
Oh, she is gone. One play, one more score. Wow.
Holy cow. I was just going to say, Toronto's back in the game, only 2 touchdowns down, and then like being shot out of a cannon, Tamar Fennell, holy cow, what a run.
How about the speed, Bobby?
Turns the corner. She's outrunning all their cornerbacks and safeties. That's why she is probably the top back in LFL Canada.
Saskatoon rebuilds their lead and advantage to 20 points as they line up for the conversion. Man, nothing like speed in sports.
Tamar Fennell, I think she could start for any CFL team, Vanderbilt.
Nothing more lethal in sports than speed. Here comes the conversion for the points after the score. Annie Erler from underneath center. Bobbles the snap, hands it off to Fennell. Oh, look at the leg drive. Outstanding push and strength by Fennell. All Tamar Fennell on that scoring drive by Saskatoon, rebuilding their lead. They now lead it 36-14.
This is what championship teams do. Just when you think the other team has a chance to get back in, they put another nail in the coffin.
Time to check out Wired Up.
You're in beast mode, man. Line, you made that happen, ladies. You made that happen.
Annie Erler showing her leadership skills, continuing to encourage her teammates as Toronto once again tries to answer. They will take over from their own 15, 1st and 10. Shotgun, handoff to Crystal Hall. Lots of running room for her on first down. Pickup of 7 yards. Tackled by Annie Erler. Why not? She's all over the place.
She does everything. In fact, when you heard her wired up, it shows why she is such a great quarterback and team leader. Her and Heather Furr are both like their 2 coaches on the field.
Staying positive the whole time. Of course, there's good reason to be when you have a 22-point lead. 2nd and 3rd for Toronto, working from their own 22-yard line. Villa Gonzalo slipping the ball to Tiff Russell. Sneaky handoff, positive gain for the Triumph.
It's a good play, picks up positive yard, but when you're down this many points, they've got a passing offense. They've got the talent to move the ball down the field, throw the football.
They did pick up the first down, so they're continuing to improve from their dismal performance in the first half. 3.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Villa Gonzalo with play instructions for her Toronto teammates. in Saskatoon territory. 1st and 10 from the gun. Looking to go to the air. Oh, through the hands and incomplete to number 16, Donna Paul. She should have caught that ball.
Donna Paul, the ex-quarterback, now wide receiver. Great pass by the Mouse. Should have been caught by Paul. That could have brought him right back in the game.
At least they're showing a much more aggressive, positive attitude. In the first half, they were walking around like they were half asleep. At least they're trying to show a little spirit here. 2nd and 2 for Toronto. Jenny Butler in motion as Vela Gonzalo works from underneath center. Handoff to number 6, Petshana Pennock, known as the Locomotive. Strong run, another positive gain for Toronto.
She runs like a locomotive. Watch this power. If you want a power back, you put her in your backfield. But the problem is they don't need 2 yards. They need touchdowns, and they throw the ball deep just like they just tried to do to Donna Paul. You got to throw the ball out there.
A pickup of 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5 for Toronto. Down 22 points. As we hit the 2-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. From the 17, Vela Gonzalo working from the shotgun, looking to go to the air. Overthrown and picked off by guess who? Ann Erler. Wow, just when they were trying to get a little rhythm, another turnover for Toronto.
Annie Erler is having an epic night. This is her 3rd interception. Wow. The Mouse is going to have dreams of Annie Erler for the rest of this year.
Pass was overthrown. Not good motion. Again, let's check out Wired Up.
So proud of you guys for blocking. Let's go. Let's do this. I search left. Okay.
Did Ann Erler just say that she was old?
If she's old, Van Earl, what are you?
I'm ancient if she's old. Ann Erler and Saskatoon taking over with a 22-point advantage. 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line. Handoff to Casey Simpson. Left side. Loses the helmet. Positive play, but not a huge gain.
Did you hear Annie Erler at the line of scrimmage? She saw the corner blitz coming. She's going to check off. I mean, this is a well-polished machine, well-coached by Chris Lambers.
There's number 7 for Toronto, Devine Burton, better known as the Crypt Keeper. Heather Furr's numbers in the first half. Outstanding average every time she ran the ball. Right now it's 2nd and 7 for Saskatoon, working from their own 20. Ann Erler from underneath center. Pitch to Heather Furr. Right side, looking for room, cutting back, going to the other side, and again cutting back, this time shooting up the middle. What an athlete, Bobby.
This is an unbelievable play. This is like, you could look up in a dictionary, textbook running back, how to run the football. Watch her follow the blocks, and watch the offensive line black down the field for her. Watch, she comes back not once, but twice. She reverses her field for positive yardage, and she's doing this with a dislocated finger.
That's a great point about the blocking, because the line, the teammates did stick with the blocking. They stuck with the play just like Heather did, and it turned out to be a positive gain of 10 yards for another 1st down. Now they're in Toronto territory, 20 yards from the end zone. Hand off to Casey Simpson, left side, breaks a tackle, finally gets taken down by Crystal Hall, but a gain of 5 yards to the 15-yard line.
Casey at the bat again for Saskatoon. I mean, how many weapons do they have now? Another running back.
That will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Vela Gonzalo and Toronto still trying to rally, but they got to protect the football. And Toronto, Ann Erler, the quarterback for the Sirens, has been a star today. A big reason why Saskatoon in white leads it by 22. Now 2nd and 5 for the Sirens from the Toronto 15-yard line. Handoff again to Casey Simpson. All of a sudden, a big part of the running game for Saskatoon. Not much of a gain there, just 1 yard. Devine Burton with the tackle.
Casey Simpson, that's her first time this year trying to tote the pig for Saskatoon.
I'm glad that you are now incorporating the phrase of toting the pig, Bobby Hugo.
I love that phrase, Van Earl. It's one of my favorites.
3rd and 4 for Saskatoon. Already up by 22 points, looking to increase their lead. Erler again, working underneath center. Play action pass. Oh, in and out of the hands. Intended for Simpson.
I like the play call. It's a straight I formation, play action, corner blitz. She actually has a receiver open in the corner of the end zone, but she went underneath for the incompletion.
All right, now a 4th and 4 for Saskatoon. Let's listen in to the play call.
I search left. I search left. Kamar, you're up. On one. Ready? Great.
4th and 4, one of the bigger challenges of the night. There haven't been many for Saskatoon. And Erler changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Handoff to Tamar Fennell. Big hole left side.
Whoa.
And just look at her take on Crystal Hall. Wow, that was a good, hard, tough run by Tamar Fennell.
Van Earl, I wasn't lying. This girl could play in the CFL. She finds her own holes, and then when she gets to a defender, she delivers the blow. She goes right after the defender. Bam!
Oh, man. Here's Ann Erler again, all wired up. Let's listen in.
Okay, we gotta get in there. Oh, I know. No, but Tamar's in there. Time. Take a breather. We got 30 seconds. You guys feel good? You guys gotta block hard, okay? They're showing this front. There's gotta be a hole, okay? They can't all run to the right spot, okay? Block your ass up, get her, and let's close this deal, okay? I'm on. Ready? We're good. We're doing.
Annie Erler telling her front line, open some holes, and we'll get the ball in the end zone. Look for a run right up the middle.
1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Handoff to Casey Simpson. Taken down. Oh, we got a loose football. Looks like Crystal Hall has stripped it, and Toronto has forced a turnover.
And a fight, too. We got a fight now, too, Van Earl.
Toronto did need that. They just stripped the football. They didn't need that cheap shot, but it looks like Toronto might take over.
Basic handoff right there. They think that she's down. I don't think her knee's down. I think that's a fumble. Watch right here, Van Earl. Her knee is not down. Right there, they're laying on her leg, pulling her down. The leg is not down. The ball is stripped.
That should be ruled a fumble. Referee still talking it over. Lead referee is Harold McKenzie. Again, from the replays, it looks like it should be Toronto ball, and their offense is huddling up.
Forward progress was gained. The knee was down. The ball was stripped after.
I think that I need my new eyeglasses because I saw it totally different.
It was clear. I think he was thinking about Watergate or something because the knee was not down. This is a fumble. This is a fumble.
Right there, you can see the knee is not down. The ball is out, stripped by Jaleesa McCrary. Should be Toronto football. But Ann Erler and Saskatoon continue to maintain possession. It'll be 2nd and goal. The pitch to Casey Simpson, right side. Breaks one tackle and then gets crunched against the wall.
They're keeping it tight, Van Earl. Very conservative right now. Only 5 minutes left in the game. They don't want to have any turnovers like they just did. It wasn't called. So hopefully they'll just run the ball out.
Take it down to the field and Mitch Mortazzo.
All right, guys, here in the Toronto bench with 4:50 and counting in the 3rd quarter, it appears that Jenny Butler, the incredible running back from Philadelphia, who they signed as a free agent here in Toronto, is out the remainder of the game. League medical director Jeremy Fisher says it's a sprained PCL, likely to be out the remaining of the game. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Mitch, for that update on Jenny Butler, and more bad news on top of an already big mountain of bad news for Toronto in this edition of LFL Saturday Night Football. Ann Erler, back to pass for Saskatoon. Got a person caught. Caught Carrie Britton right there. Yet more points for Saskatoon in this dominating display.
I love the way Coach Lambert is calling the game. Like Jimmy Johnson and Steve Spurrier, you can never score enough points. Put it on. Put the points on when you can score. That's why you're playing the game. Play action pass, great pass there by Annie Erler for more points for Saskatoon.
Saskatoon just dominating, now leading 42-14 with a little more than 4 minutes to go. Listen in to see what Ann Erler has in store for the conversion.
Let's go. Let's go. I search. Wait, give me a second. See how they line up. Yeah, let's go I search, okay? I search. Come on, you gotta get in the end zone. You guys gotta block your I'm on. Ready, straight.
Sounds like they're going to do the I search. That's like run for glory. It's a Bankslick handoff, I formation, give it to the tailback, and she finds a hole. She looks where the blocks are and tries to score.
Handoff to the I-back. Casey Simpson gets it in there. Yet more points on the board for the Sirens of Saskatoon, now leading by 30.
Another weapon, Casey Simpson, with that fast twitch that sets her apart for points.
The conversion is good. By the way, the drive, 9 plays, almost 6 minutes long. That's impressive.
It's impressive to score the 44th point. I mean, when you're trying to, most teams will try to just run the clock out. This team tries to score points while they're running the clock out.
Members of the Toronto team on the bench trying to figure out what has just rocked their world on this Saturday night. It's called the Saskatoon Sirens. Yet Toronto answers by keeping it on the ground, handing it off to Shauna Pinnock. Why are they not going to the air?
Great point, Vanderbilt. I mean, she's a great runner, there's no doubt. But when you're down that many points and they have a passing attack, it's not like they run the wishbone. The Mouse can throw the ball. Crystal Hall can catch it.
Good gain of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2 from their own 23. But they're showing no signs of desperation whatsoever. Now they're going to the air. Villa Gonzalo looking downfield. Oh, throwing into double coverage. Incomplete. Stephanie Busatil, the intended receiver.
Play action pass. She drops back, throws almost a Hail Mary. She's not open. It's pretty much a jump ball. I'm surprised it wasn't picked off, but at least she's trying to score points quick.
3rd and 2. Heather Furr and Saskatoon trying hard right now not to begin their celebration. What a dynamic duo, known as Furler. Furr and Erler. Villa Gonzalo from the shotgun again, going to the air. Late pressure as the ball sails out of bounds.
Great pressure there. That's what caused that pass to go out of bounds.
Looks like a personal foul. Oh, Shishindu with the late hit on the quarterback. Here's our referee, Harold McKenzie. Villa Gonzalo trying to figure out where she is.
She's out of it right now. That was a shot to the head. A corner blitz by Agam Chichindu. She came in there great. The only problem was...
Listen, a foul. Number 6.
Agam Shishindu, the guilty party. Villa Gonzalo still trying to figure out where she is. She's headed to the bench. She'll take a rest. Got to say it, Bobby. That's totally unnecessary by Shishindu when you're up 44-14.
Totally. She made a great play. It's a corner blitz. She knew she was going to pass.
We talked about Donna Paul earlier, how she's used to playing quarterback, and she fills in for Villa Gonzalo. Big hit in the backfield, but the locomotive, Shauna Pinnock, showing all kinds of strength.
Holy cow, look at this.
Taking on every one of the Saskatoon defenders. Finally, a whistle stops play as she gets crunched against the wall.
Wow, this is the most powerful run I've ever seen in the Lingerie Football League. She throws one player off, goes after 2 more, stays on her feet, throws them off, throws a 3rd off, keeps going, 2 more come in, the whole team's on her, and she still wants to score. Unbelievable play.
Great run by Pinnock. Look at that, just throwing away Heather Furr, just discarding her, Bobby.
This is a player possessed right now, wow.
But it's Pinnock who was shaken up on that play, immediately taken back to the locker room. Looks like a leg problem. Again, Donna Paul taking over at quarterback for Toronto. High snap, throwing to the air. Little too far out the back of the end zone, incomplete. Again, intended for Budasil.
Donna Paul can play quarterback. She doesn't have the gun like the Mouse. This ball right there floats like a Canadian goose, almost gets picked off. Little fan interference. Look at that, Vanderbilt.
Hate to see that. Steve Barton continues to live. He's moved north to Canada.
I can't believe you brought up Steve Barton. I can't. If he watches this game, you know what he's going to think, Vanero?
He's going to hate you. He's going to call it all on you. That Hugo guy. Quick timeout on the field to stop the clock. Donna Paul getting play instructions from her coach, now lining up underneath center as we get closer to the 2-minute mark. Handoff to Jaleesa McCrary, trying to bulldoze her way into the end zone. Stop shy of the goal line.
Not a bad idea right there. Jaleesa McCrary is a great player, free agent from Philadelphia. She can play the game. Why not put her running back? She's got the athletic skills to play anywhere.
We have reached the 2-minute warning here in Toronto. Heather Furr headed to the bench for a little water break, but what about that run by Petshana Pinnock? Man, the locomotive on display. As we get ready for the final 2 minutes, we remind you that Whitney Peronish and this Toronto club will travel to British Columbia to take on Stephanie Minute and the Angels. And we already said this is a must-win for Toronto tonight. That'll definitely be a must-win in 2 weeks in BC, Bobby.
BC, they're on the blocks too. They're in the same situation. It's a must-win for them also.
Donna Paul, the backup quarterback for Toronto, trying to get her Triumph team a few more points before the final buzzer, and she gets bulldozed in by her teammates. Touchdown, Toronto. Too little, too late, but maybe they can build on that positive energy.
That's great to see from Donna Paul. She came back from a devastating PCL injury, and they pushed her in the end zone. It shows right there her knee is back in action. And as you know, Donna Paul is a big fan of Mark Sanchez and tequila shots, Van Earl.
Wow. Again, the insight and the inside knowledge on display from Bobby Hugo.
I've been waiting for her to play quarterback to tell you about her and tequila shots. I will take a girl at quarterback doing whiskey or tequila shots instead of milk any day.
Cutting the Saskatoon lead to 24 as they line up for the conversion. Donna Paul trying to get her offense organized. Timeout has been called by the Toronto bench, wanting to make sure that backup quarterback Donna Paul has it straight with the play for the conversion. You know, Toronto and Saskatoon, two teams headed in opposite directions, Bobby.
Totally. Toronto has not won a game ever in the LFL. I hate to say that, but they did not win a game last year. On the other hand, Saskatoon in a couple weeks goes head-to-head with Regina, which will be the LFL Game of the Year.
Saskatoon and Regina so far proving they are the two premier teams in this inaugural season of LFL Canada. All right, here we go with the conversion. Going to the air, wide open. Whitney Peronish. And all of a sudden, right here, Toronto showing a little life.
Donna Paul looked like a seasoned vet on that. A play-action bootleg wide open in the end zone. Donna Paul, good to see her back in action. She's playing great.
Whitney Peronish on the receiving end of that conversion pass from Donna Paul. Toronto trailing by 22, but it looks like there's some discussion about possibly lining up for an onside kick for Toronto. But again, they're trailing by 22 with less than 2 minutes to go. Looks like a Saskatoon huddle, but no, they were lining up there getting ready for the onside kick. Here we go, Bobby. It's a 22-point game, but still an onside kick effort. Stephanie Budersil will kick it off. Bouncing off the wall, recovered by Saskatoon, and they will take over offensively and no doubt keep it on the ground to run out the clock.
Great play right there. You have to just fall on the ball. The only thing in LFL, though, it is live. When it hits the wall and bounces off like that, it's a live football. Great play to smother the ball like there. And they had to try the onside kick. That's the only thing they have left in their repertoire to possibly get some points on the board.
As we play the final minute 49 here in Toronto, Saskatoon has really proven to be the cream of the four-team crop here in the inaugural season of LFL Canada.
Right now, Coach Lambris, I would think he is the early leader for LFL Coach of the Year, way this team is playing.
Hand off to Casey Simpson. Hit big by Roxy Rowe. But again, Saskatoon just trying to run out the clock.
High formation, hand off to Casey Simpson. She's a bull. She's not going to fumble the football. She'll get positive yards, and she'll keep the clock running.
And you've mentioned it throughout this game, Bobby, that it's more than just Ann Erler and Heather Furr. There's plenty of other talent on this Saskatoon team.
That secondary alone could start in the CFL. The cornerbacks, Agam Chichindu, and on the other side, Tamar Fennell, they are all LFL players in their own right, and we haven't been talking about it.
Roxy Rowe and Toronto holding their head in their hands, trying to figure out what has gone wrong here in LFL Canada. They haven't come close to their potential. Again, keeping it on the ground, and again handing it off to Casey Simpson, tackled by McCrary and Burton.
Casey Simpson coming into her own. She didn't get much action in the first game at running back, but you can see right there, she's a bull in there. She's a positive yardage player. If you need to get a couple yards, just hand her the football.
Probably have to do one more snap, and that will do it from here in Toronto. Saskatoon putting up 44 big points on the board. We think it'll stay at 44, but you never know with Ann Erler at quarterback. She might throw one to the end zone.
On the other side of the ball, it's got to be disheartening for this crowd. Toronto came in this season with such high hopes, and they're playing such bad football right there. It's sad to see.
Ann Erler working the clock, and this will be the final snap of the game. It's a handoff to Fennell, and she was threatening the end zone, but that will do it from Toronto. Very disappointing display by the home team triumph here in front of the crowd in Toronto. Tamar Fennell coming up a little gimpy. Let's hope that she's all right as Ann Erler, Heather Furr, and the Sirens celebrate a 2-0 start to LFL Canada.
Tanner, I am so fired up. In 3 weeks, Regina is playing Saskatoon for what I think is going to be the LFL Game of the Year.
Plenty of stars in this game for Saskatoon. Mitch Mortaza has found 3 of them to talk to right down on the field here in Toronto.
All right, guys, what a game. On the road, 44-22. Nobody expected this team to be competitive this season. Here you guys are, 2-0. It's Saskatchewan football is back, huh? To my right here, Agam Chichindu, obviously won a few championships in Los Angeles. What's it like to play here in Canada?
I mean, it's an amazing feeling to play in Canada. The fans have been great, and it's even better when you're ranked the underdog and you're coming out on top 2-0.
Annie, we keep meeting up for these interviews, man. Great job out there. I don't know what the final numbers came in, but it was at least 3 picks, I think, or 3 touchdowns. We're going to iron it out here after the game, but hell of a start, 2-0.
It feels awesome. Like I said, everybody was there. They blocked. We worked together. I couldn't be more proud of the girls. The atmosphere and the vibe here is just great, and we're bringing this back to Saskatoon for October.
Congratulations, guys. And Casey, you're one of the originals of the Saskatoon Sirens, the Saskatchewan province player. 2-0. How's it feel to be 2-0 in LFL Canada?
Feels amazing. Feels like the first time.
How were some of the hits out there? Looked like you got some contact out there playing a little fullback.
Yeah, out of your mind and gotta get back up and keep going. That's how the game is, so you gotta take it.
Off to Regina, huh, ladies? We're gonna take care of Regina.
We handle them just like we handle them. Watching.
All right, guys, the mood is incredible here. I don't know if you could say that for the Toronto locker room, but that's how football is. You win some, you lose some. See you guys.
Mitch, thanks a lot. Appreciate those comments from the Siren stars, many stars, as we see the final numbers, Bobby.
The final stats, the big thing right there, 3 turnovers for the Triumph and 242 total yards in a total dominating game by Saskatoon.
Dominating the key word, thanks to the outstanding performances by Ann Erler and all the members of the Saskatoon Sirens. They are 2-0, and we thank you for joining us for another rockin' and rollin' edition of LFL Saturday Night Football. For Bobby Hugo, Mitch Mortaza, and the entire crew with the Lingerie Football League, I'm Van Earl Wright. Thanking you for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks in BC.